TMI, every opinion counts.
All right, thanks for joining me again. Still this morning on ITV, reaching you live from Benin City, Nigeria. So just in case you're watching from across the world, either via a live stream on the internet or via Roku TV in the UK, the US, parts of Africa and Europe, Smart TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android TV, or just maybe you're watching across Nigeria via Govt TV channel 107 and Star Times channel 130, or via the independent television mobile app. It's great to have you on TMI this morning. It's your favorite breakfast and current affairs program. My name is Ugochukwu Bamidele. Now quickly, let's just get straight to discussing some of the very trendy issues. Our main focus this morning is on the Edo State government's response to the menace of herdsmen in the state. But just before we look at that, some sort of, very scary drama played out on the floor of the National Assembly yesterday. The Senate, particularly, talking about the Red Chamber, where thugs invaded the floor of the Senate, wreaked havoc, picked the mace, challenged, the sergeant at arms. We also hear the deputy Senate president, who was presiding over plenary yesterday when that attack occurred. He said about 2 senators were almost kidnapped yesterday. So, all of this put together brings to mind the question, even as we look at the issue of herdsmen attacks in Edo State, it's security. To think of the fact that just on Tuesday, security was beefed up around the National Assembly complex, and then this happens on Wednesday morning while plenary was ongoing. It begs the question, what is happening exactly? All right, joining me this morning on TMI, I've got a retired superintendent of police, a security expert, also and public affairs analyst, SP Saturday Osazwalka, retired. Many thanks for joining me this morning.
You're welcome.
All right, and the human rights activist and public affairs commentator, Comrade Godwin Ebode. Thank you so much for your time.
God bless you, viewers. God bless you.
Okay, so let's just go straight. Let me share your thoughts on that scene that looked like something from a movie on the floor of the National Assembly yesterday. I mean, what were your thoughts when you saw that, when that news broke? Yeah, SP, yeah.
My brother, I've never been so disturbed. I've been so embarrassed that even when I watched it yesterday, I just went back. I was telling my wife, I said, where are we heading to? But one thing we shouldn't forget to mention here, it is believed that in that complex there are security men that ought to give a better coverage there.
Okay.
When you now say thugs coming to invade that place and there was no action was made, that implies that it was porous. They lost it.
Okay.
That's the truth. We didn't say that the men in the house, we didn't say the senators were fighting themselves. If you say thugs, that implies that they came in from outside the house.
I mean, it was some sort of Gestapo show.
God bless you.
On the floor of the National Assembly.
They came in there and had their ways when we remained unchallenged. It's a minus to the security apparatus there. It was a complete failure.
Okay.
I've always said in this platform that if there are too many in a place trying to give a security coverage, you end up not giving it.
Okay.
I keep saying it.
So you think the addition to the security day on Tuesday
let me tell you
might have been the
something.
problem?
Yes. If you give a person a responsibility and you say, my friend, you are the officer in charge of this place, I don't want any foul play here. You have given him this is a definite instruction.
Okay.
You have about 20, 30 men to work with.
Okay.
He prepares his what they call operational method, and men are posted, and he gives a simple instruction, my friend, you must play your own part. It becomes an instruction that is coming from him. He is responsible to the man who sent him.
Okay.
By the time you bring in more people, you see some, because like we are too many, some might even live there.
Okay. I'm going to come back to you to talk a little bit about, because that's your strong point, security. So I'll come back to you to look at, the porosity of the security architecture on the floor of the National Assembly and the National Assembly complex in general. But let me come to you, Comrade Godwin. I mean, your thoughts on, the stealing of that mace, the whole drama, the Gestapo approach to it. Just before you respond to that, by the way, the mace had been found this morning. The police put out a statement to say it was found somewhere around the Abuja City Gate, even if I still find that really interesting. But we're going to come to that in just a bit. I mean, what's your take on that? And then what's the implication of that kind of drama, especially at a time like this?
I must tell you here that I was perplexed yesterday on watching that news listening to the broadcast that relates to the whole drama that took place.
Okay.
And for the first time, my sense of judgment and reason and composure went incommunicado. The Nigerian situation is a laughable one. The Nigerian state, I keep saying, is almost near a failing state. What we find today in this country is an abysmal anywhere in the world. No developing nation, no growing nation will allow this level of democratic and social political embarrassment to be clouded. Let us begin to answer ourselves. What is really wrong with this country as a body? That security apparatus were all available at the National Assembly. There was even a beefed up a day to that day. One begin to question what led to that beef up if they were not envisaging that something sinister was going to happen.
I mean, there's been protests around the SCT,
I understand
the Islamic movement in Nigeria.
Because they protested.
Yes, they protested on Monday and on Tuesday, so it was only necessary.
So that is the reason why
they thought the National Assembly might just be the next
move.
Yeah,
not knowing that there's also a move from the in-house. I want to be quick here to say that Omo Agege is a former NASS product. National Association of Nigerian Students. He was one time leader of NASS product. I was also one of the NASS product chairman of all speakers in Nigeria.
Okay.
Almost at the same bar time. But I know him to be a very fine gentleman, a social political critic that wants Nigeria to be good.
Okay.
But what transpired at his turn overnight, used 90 degrees overnight to transform into that drama and being the main actor of that drama, beats my imagination.
Well, he's also come out to deny that, even if he was picked up yesterday by the police. He said he doesn't have anything to do with that.
He can say that in a country like Nigeria in Africa.
Okay.
There's nowhere any reasonable world, in the reasonable country anywhere in the world, where persons like Omo Agege, with due respect, Honorable, no matter what is happening, we come to claim that in US that is not part of it. I watched the video. He was in front. He was leading. So what is he saying?
What if it was a coincidence that he was walking in? I'm just saying.
Anyway,
all of this,
you are pushing my sense of judgment, and let me go further to tell you that there is no way he could have just been walking in because they were even shouting that you had a restraint on who? Omo Agege. So what are we saying? Omo Agege is the principal actor, and in short, is the commando of the action. Okay. But it's a disgraceful act. This country must wake up. The National Assembly must play it to its core to unravel all the mysteries that led to that embarrassment yesterday that we got. I got a call from Canada yesterday on this issue in Nigeria. A comrade in Canada called me and said, "Comrade Ebode, what's happening in your country again? This is your country. Are you not always living evil news? How can you take a miss? And do you know that action? That action is a threat and it's treasonable."
Oh, that's what the Senate is saying.
No, I'm telling you that from what I've known so far in law, that action is treasonable. Omo Agege don't know what he's playing with, and those 4 of them or 5 of them that are already been arrested now. What they did yesterday was an attempt to usurp and topple the power of the second tier of government, the National Assembly. The commotion they caused is a threat to democracy in this country. It must be condemned by all right-meaning Nigerians. Punitive measures must be meted on whoever is found guilty and culpable in this act, so as to bring us back on course as a nation. I would not say I regret to be a Nigerian, but certain development in this country begin to question the status quo of your citizenry.
Well, that's something you can't change.
Yes, you can change it. That's why I begin to question. Because you begin to look at the country. You begin to look at the actors. The politicians are not even favored in terms of condemnation in what I'm trying to say now. The politicians, they are all playing this card in such a way that because 2019 is coming, there is now fighting in-house, robbing that, doing that, just to ensure that they find their way in 2019. But when they had about 3 years to provide for the masses of this country, they've not been able to do. It has come to time for election. Look at the way they are now scheming.
All right. Let me just help you a little bit. SP Saturday Okao. Let's look at security on the floor of the National Assembly, because you're asking yourself, these are representatives that we've sent there, all of them representing our constituencies, 109 of them on the floor of the Senate. And the question in my head, I've been to the National Assembly complex before, You know how many gates you have to cross. You know how many checks you have to go through before gaining entrance to the main chamber itself and then to the floor of the Senate. And, you know, the question begs, I mean, what happened to all of the security apparatus? Were these thugs, did these thugs fill forms that they had appointments? Do you understand? Before gaining entrance. I'm asking because, I mean, it's your specialty. So let's just x-ray the probability of, you know, something going wrong and all of this. And then, okay, going in might have been easy because they might have been calm. But coming out, there was adrenaline, they were already agitated. So leaving with the mace and then they went through. That mace was found, according to the police, at the Abuja City Gate.
I think I had one story here that you cannot give what you don't have. I would say this.
Are you saying the security apparatus from the chief security officer, the DSS and the police there?
You just ask a question. You cannot give what you don't have.
Wow.
So I mean this morning, dressed in a sporting attire, I told you at the time, I did judo. Okay. I'm still very much in it. Okay. You see, the only way you can get a better result is when people, you know, have what it takes to give that result. I quickly want to add to what my brother said here. You see, any wrong opinion that is not addressed, you build on it.
Becomes a trend.
That's right. You know, those who were on duty, the policemen or the other security apparatus that were there on duty, completely defeat to their duties. Let us be like you said. They came in maybe unnoticed. They pretended as if they were coming as just ordinary persons. But an action has taken place.
So what happened to locking down? What happened to locking down the complex at the time?
How do you effect to arrest? You see, if offense is committed in your presence, the police now has a right to effect an arrest. Okay. Offense has been committed, and if you find out very well, I know so most sincerely that it's this "I don't care" syndrome, this lukewarm attitude to issues, play dominant that complex. Okay. If somebody has taken, let me not shock you. I don't want to mention a place now. I was in service. There was this senator, he's now a governor of the state. If he see me, he will confront what I tell you right now. While they were doing the senatorial primaries then, some thugs came from somewhere trying to disrupt that action. I was not a DPO. When I saw the military guys were packed outside because they were not right within the. So what I did, when I saw this, I said, if we keep quiet, they are going to disturb this. We will end up not achieving the purpose for which we have become here. What I did was to give a simple instruction. It must not happen. It was a simple instruction. Those who all other actions, it's like an officer giving instruction, and that give them that boldness. We're able to repair that, and that exercise was, you know, done perfectly, and we got results. If an officer has taken that bold step, say, my friend, this thing must not be. Look, what do you do? You're an officer. You have been commissioned to be an officer to lead the people. I won't blame the junior ones. If an officer has given that instruction and it was not obeyed, then it becomes kind of it's another thing. All right.
So let me quickly ask you, just before we move on to the other issue, who should be held responsible here? The senator that allegedly spearheaded the attack on the Senate, or you know, the heads of the security apparatus within the National Assembly? Because I mean, look at it. It feels like the typical Nigeria situation, especially with the police force where you have served. Yeah. A crime happens. You don't find them acting. The crime is over, and then they come, and there is a commando approach to the whole thing. Don't move, and all of that. So and it looked like that was what happened. So these guys get done. They come to pick Senator Omar Agege and see the way, and in fact, see the driving within the National Assembly complex yesterday.
Let me quickly just come here. You see, these are two different issues. Okay. Omar Agege has committed an offense.
I agree.
Okay, the police officer, the man ought to have given instruction he didn't give, has probably failed in responsibility. Okay. Then
there was also a police, you know, the assembly definitely has a police command around that area. So
altogether, I'm telling you, those who are started with responsibility to give coverage there, they have failed. All the police authority need to do is to issue the query.
So why are we not hearing anything about that?
I am sure something will be going on.
The only statement the police has put out is the recovery or finding of the mace.
Hold on, they will blow out of proportion. They will blow out of obviously.
But right now we should be hearing.
Hold on, my brother. We should be hearing. So I'm sure if you go further, if you want to know this, I'm telling you, the police will. It's a disgrace to the police authority. Of course, it's a disgrace to the police authority. Sure. Okay. I am sure. Obviously, will be taken. As sure as that.
All right, let's just leave it at that. Definitely, we'll keep following up on the story and it would form part of our discussion for some time to come, as you know, the issues around that drama, commando-style drama that played out on the floor of the National Assembly yesterday. We're going to keep following that and bring you up to speed on that one. But quickly, let's come back home. The issue of herdsmen attack has been a recurrent issue, not just here in Edo State, but across most parts of Nigeria. Taraba State seems to be having it hot right now. Benue feels like hell. Nasarawa is having its own issues. Apart from Edo State, around this other area, I mean, we've had issues in Ondo State, we've had issues in Ikiti also. And, you know, the question is, how did we get to this point? Here in Edo State, I mean, somewhere in Odigi community, someone was killed. He was kidnapped, you know, together with his workers on his farm by these alleged herdsmen. And ransom was demanded. The family was trying to negotiate that ransom, and the man was killed in the process. His workers escaped, very hurt. And the government has put a committee in place to look into the issues. But then, in the meantime, the governor has said, the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, has said that a 90-day ban is on ground around Odigi, Odigwetwe, and you know, the environs there, saying no grazing around that area for the 90-day period. Let me start with you, Comrade Godwin. Is this the right approach to solving the issue of herdsmen attack in Edo State?
You see, I'm surprised, and anytime issues crop up in this country that begins to assault my sense of good judgment and marching forward, I get not only disturbed, I get frustrated to look at the issues that borders on this Nigeria as a nation and as a state. I am aware, and I'm a participant, on the 7th of July last year, we had a grazing section, anti-grazing bill session in Edo State Assembly. You can see that I was a participant in that bill, in the making of that bill.
You were also on the program here. I
yes,
that
yes,
day,
I left
here.
I left here that day and drove straight to the House of Assembly to participate. I am aware that that day, clergymen selected from all parts of the state were invited, traditional rulers. The palace was strictly represented. Even the government itself was represented. And the members of the House of Assembly were all on ground, the civil society, and every other person, including farmers in the state.
Stakeholders generally.
Yes, we brainstormed. We gave, in short, a clear-cut blueprint to the House of Assembly, to the government for implementation. It became so surprising to me that till the pastor was killed in Odigi, the government in Edo State never took any action, never had cause to recourse to the blueprint we had on the floor of the National Assembly, on the floor of the Edo State Assembly on the 6th and 7th of July last year. They never had cause. Issues relating to killings in all parts of the state has been about, and nobody has really come out in clear terms, administratively in terms of governance, to condemn. The reason why I believe the government had to go a little bit crawling to give a 70-day ban, 90 days ban on the Odigi issue is because of when the corpse of the late pastor was placed on the door of government house. This is just the reason. It's a sort of stampede to create the impression within Edo people that the government is on course as it relates to the mayhem unleashed on Edo people by these herdsmen. However, I want to be swift to make some recommendation again.
We would come to making recommendations. I just asked, you know, your thoughts on, you know, this. But let me come to you, SP Saturday Osazua. You're a security expert, so let's look at the security implication of placing a 90-day ban on grazing in Odigi community, Odigwetwe, and environs. Look at the fact that what happens to the cattle rearers there, the herdsmen that take their cows around. What would happen to them, and you know, other communities around that area? I'm just bothered about that.
I want to sincerely appreciate my brother here. I think you see the problem we have here is implementation of laudable ideas.
Okay.
I think I watched that program.
Good.
I think I have a compendium of what they were,
Cool.
the suggestions I have is.
Last year.
Okay.
You see, if the people came together and said, this is what we should be, and it's not been addressed, what do you want us to say here?
Well, let's say they're still working on implementation.
And now people are dying.
Well, they're trying to put modalities in place to implement it. I'm just thinking aloud.
Let's not flog it.
Okay.
Let's not flog it. I tell you, I've had cause to handle responsibility as with the DPO. Because as a DPO of a division, you have every responsibility to make sure that area is rid of crime.
Okay.
The methodology to get it is led for you, or to you as a person. People came together, they brought ideas. Yes. Let us do this. Why don't you try it? It could just save the problem we're passing through today.
Okay.
That is not the truth. And again, mind you, where there's no offense.
All right.
And because of your, when we were asking a question, you lay the foundation that even the supposedly herdsmen now, kidnapped and asking for, the word kidnapped has already been established there. If you adopt, you don't ask for money, it's not kidnapping. It's when you ask for money, it becomes kidnapping. They can hide under the guise of grazing to perpetrate other crimes. That is what is taking place right now. If it's not properly addressed, like what he said, like I said, I have the detail of the discussion there. And when they were talking, I was recording. They should work with that. You see, when people come together with ideas, that idea should be taken seriously. It should be implemented. If you try it and it's giving result, you need to improve on it. And you suggest it's not being taken. Then it's as good as wasting time.
Okay.
That is what I have for now.
All right. But just before I come to you, I mean, there are fears that now that the government has placed a 90-day ban on grazing around that area, the probability of the people perpetrating this crime, because they know the surveillance eyes are on them right now, they would move to other communities where a ban has not been placed.
That's right.
Imagine having this issue in a community not so far from that environment where the 90-day ban has been placed. You have maybe 200 cows, and the farmers in that area are already complaining. And then you move another 50 cows from this area where you've placed the ban to that area. That's what I'm asking. I mean, the security implication of placing a 90-day ban on grazing in Odugetwe and environs.
Yes. I want to take on that. You see, my brother, it is treacherous. You know what I'm saying now?
Okay.
Like you said, there's every tendency they're going to migrate from where they are being bound to other areas. Very sure of that. But action depends on situation.
Okay.
There's a course I attended. They said, if you want to get a proper, peace, sometimes you assault an environment. When you assault it, you reorganize it.
You assault an environment
and reorganize it
to get peace.
So this 30 months, 3 months, 3 months ban also, 90 days ban.
90-day ban. That's about 3 months.
It's just I'll call it an assault in principle to reorganize it. What they need to do is to add values to it.
Okay.
How do you add value to it now? By making sure that the surrounding communities, the immediate environment there, are well manned too by security agents. Okay. Give them responsibilities. You see, my brother, if you don't do it, it takes a lot to get result. Tell the DPO or clear commander, look, this will do it, this will do it. What you need to be for security, extensive patrol. At most, you can form a task force. Form a task force. Let them continue to shuttle from one area to another. Because they too, they'll be skeptical. If we want to go this way, they might meet us here.
Does the police have the manpower?
Why
does the police have the resources to do
that?
Let me
help.
For instance, you drive around town every day. You see the kind of vehicles that the police in Edo State is using.
Let me help you. I use the word. I lay the foundation. Action depends on situation. What stops the state government from bringing out good vehicles? What stops them from bring the police, bring those vigilante groups, even with local hunters?
Yes.
You embrace them, you get results.
That's true. Okay.
They just cooperate police services. They are going to I'm telling you what you're going to do. I worked in an environment that was so dicey. I told you in Aba.
Yes.
I was the first DPO there. It was terrible. What I did was to embrace the vigilante men. I brought them in, and those who were willing to work with me, I will get results.
Okay. All right. Let me come to you, Comrade Ebode.
I want you to look at this issue of 90 days ban. It is not new to us in our checkered history of this herdsmen's attack all over the state. I am aware that the Benue State government, Governor Thor, issued 4 months ban on herdsmen trading in a particular area in the state.
Logo and Goma area.
Thank you very much. What the herdsmen went further to do they left that area, they migrated to some other area, like he has just said, and they started assaulting. The governor also went there to create another 3 months ban, like it's been done in Edo State. These herdsmen migrated and they started creating mayhem. Today, look at the situation now in Benue State, where just 3 days ago, 15 soldiers were killed. Policemen running down the drain, civilians, herdsmen also losing on their own side. Like it's as if we are now in a state of war in Benue State. War zone. When we human rights started advising the federal government early enough to take precautionary measures in ensuring that these things do not extend, because I do not see how militias can overpower state police. There is nowhere it's done in the world. There's nowhere it's hard. It's only in a state like Nigeria, where militias, these herdsmen are militias. How can they overpower state police? It is because of we have played down on our security implementation. Budget money meant for police are being diverted at high levels to some other things, to their looting of the treasury.
Don't you think it's a result of the fact that these guys have much more better training? I mean, take for instance the excuse. No, take for instance the excuse the president gave. He says this armed militia by the Gaddafi regime at the time he was going down to help him stay afloat in Libya, and so they found their way down. It's a probability also.
I want to laugh at that. I want to laugh at that. Is that if Gaddafi could train militias, then the militias now are now overpowering our security, legally trained and constitutionally known, then something is wrong with Nigeria as a nation.
I'm saying there's a probability. The president said that. So,
Then there's something is wrong with Nigeria, because I heard the president telling us now that what we have today is a fallout from Libya. A fallout from Libya. Don't we have borders? These security men in the borders can easily arrest you when you are bringing vehicles into our system that is not legally approved. These security members can easily arrest you when you want to travel like our boys who were using the Libyan route. I condemn it quite right, but for the point of reference. But when it comes to policing our border to ensure that illegal gun trotters, carriers do not come in, they were not helpless. So the security militias, like you call them, they are now stronger than the Nigerian army. 15 soldiers were killed. This is not the first time we're hearing that. In Operation Catwatch that they are doing now, Operation Anya, that is going on in that state. Look at soldiers being killed. But when we were warning, they said some of us we don't like Nigeria. We are always complaining. Why will we human rights not complain when the survival of this country is now in our hand, because we have seen that the politicians have failed this nation. Politicians are busy gangstering and looting, rather than paying attention to the cause of governance in this country. What we are having today is Nigeria is now on a path of being rescued. On a path of being rescued, you won't believe it. Mention the area that Nigeria is not having problem. Administratively, we have problem. Security, we have problem. National Assembly has just come up that people can work in the National Assembly. It's laughable. Can that happen in America, anywhere in the world, even in Ghana here, that you find yourself in the National Assembly, there's a sergeant at arm? How come about that the person went to pick the maize? The sergeant at arm is armed on the floor of the National Assembly. You are aware? So what happened that all the security network, like you have just said, they were beaten. Overpowered, and the maize was carried and nobody detected. The maize was found at the gate. Abuja City gate. Look, Nigeria should wake up as a nation. This country is approaching a dead state.
Okay, let me help you a little bit. SP Saturday Osazua, let's look at how lofty is the idea of placing a ban, because think of it, the government had placed a ban on night grazing across Edo State. Still didn't solve the problem. There's a 90-day ban in Odigi community. Now, these days, what you find, I was driving to the office yesterday and around my area. It took me 30 minutes for a less than 5 minutes drive from my house to the studio, simply because there were cows on the road. We're not even looking at the environmental implication of that right now, because these cows would defecate. It's an estate, a residential estate, and you have cows moving around. Somebody's vehicle was destroyed. The side mirror was destroyed yesterday. Do you understand? And if that person had confronted the header, it just might have degenerated to something else. And there's a ban in place, night grazing. There's a ban in place. You now have the cows moving during the day. There's a 90-day ban in Odigi. Is this the solution to the herders crisis we're having?
I'm going to my brother. I see, I am proud to have you here. I think he has laid claim to all that I would have said
Thank you very
today.
much. God bless you.
The truth about it is, I said something here a while ago that where there is no effective law, there is no offense.
So you're saying placing a ban is not an effective way of handling it?
Of course. Because if you evidently arrest the herdsmen now, with what offense are you going to charge them? Let's start from there.
Breaking an instruction.
Because you know you're helpless.
My brother, let us this ourselves. You see,
So are you saying if a herdsman is found grazing at night and is arrested, there's nothing to tie him down?
I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know if there's any law with which he's going to be prosecuted. I'm saying.
Is the governor's word not supposed to be law?
I know what I'm saying now. The governor has said something.
Yes.
This is hold on, it's a bound. What are the provisions with which that man is going to be charged?
Maybe civil disobedience.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how tenable is that in the law.
When you were with the police, when you arrest people, most times you hear civil disobedience. Doesn't it work when you arrest people?
There are sections of the law with which people have been charged.
Okay.
What section?
That I'm talking about now.
What section?
Okay.
Because they said 396, 90 is still conspiracy thereabout. So we have sections with which somebody has to be charged. That is my argument. I don't know the extent of which. Maybe if a herdsman is arrested because the governor says a ban on it, let him, if we arraigned, say offended a ban. I don't know what's going to be.
No.
I don't know. I haven't said that. I want to quickly align what said. You see, made something Jamaican word that is talking about the president attributing the fierceness of this militia based on training required from Libya.
From Gaddafi.
Okay, now that is known. The question is, what are we doing now to empower our own here? I want to hear. Training is a must. You update every day by having training. I keep saying, I keep telling you this.
But I think the police and security agencies in Nigeria get training. I think the problem should be we should be talking about implementation of the training they get.
My brother, hold on there. Let me tell you one thing. Look, I'm here today speaking.
Okay.
I'm here talking today. I'm not talking because I'm here. I'm telling you because of what I know.
Okay.
Ask question about me now. Yesterday I went somewhere. I don't want to mention the place. I stepped into a bank. I saw a policeman that ought to be given the coverage with his AK rifle standing right at the front of the gate. I couldn't just manage. I said, my friend, you are just exposed unnecessarily. You're supposed to be in the cover. You watch. Intermittently, you're sure to go in and come back. You have a rifle. You don't even have a question with me here. The man that says, lie down first, is the man that dictates the day. He said, thank you, sir. Later, he said, well, you're it's unnecessary. You go and take a cover.
No.
Because I know it. Most often, I see men on patrol in their vehicles, see them clustered in the front, no one at the back. I've told you before.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have the back cover. You have the front driver, you have the commander, because maybe two persons right here. Then the back to give a cover. These are things. I am even thinking, I don't know how the commission is going to embrace it. Because my brother, I am an instructor. Good. I'm an instructor. I will tell you like
the question is, why does the police not have people like you with so much experience come back from time to time to give hands-on experience, hand it down to the next generation?
I was going to say something. I don't know if the commission is going to embrace it because of what we are seeing right now.
No, but are you supposed? You're not even supposed to be making the appeal. I mean, from your record during service.
Do we have the records? That's it's a give back.
Right, so let's just quickly debate.
Let's give back. What I intend doing, I want to do it. I've got to do it with my friends, my colleagues.
Okay.
I want to write a formal letter to the commissioner of police if he so embrace it. Maybe it's going to be selfless. Let me come sometime, give what we have. The last one I attended, I told you, it's called law enforcement. It was all encompassing under United Nations.
Okay.
So we are supposed to give this back to the people. We are supposed to replicate it.
It's supposed to be handed down to the next generation.
Instead of asking us to do it, we are giving other postings.
Okay.
So it takes a lot to impart the people. Yes. And the man that was going to impart must be well equipped.
Okay.
So maybe before the week runs out, or maybe another week, I'll go and come to sir. I beg you, you are doing very well here, but we need to help you out. If you're going to give a consent to this, let me from division to 2 divisions go to Ogeda. Let me just. It's going to be theoretical. What is self-defense? It's a consciousness or art of defending oneself from being attacked, or when attacked from being injured. I call that defending myself. There are things, somebody carry a match facing you. If you step out that way, you are not afraid. You are being conscious. You hear me now? If you are not conscious, you just walk through. Don't that man be sent to come and kill you. Okay. Then by the time you stare aside and decide to turn against you, you run away. That is aversion.
Okay. All right. So quickly, let's begin to look at what can be done. Let's suggest what can be done to curb the issue of herders farmers clash. In Edo State, we don't have those kind of clashes. What we have more is the herdsmen attacking farmers, attacking indigents. So let's profess solutions.
What we are having in Edo State is in the infant stage.
Okay.
It's definitely going to graduate to what you have today.
Well, we pray it doesn't.
What I'm telling you is that the antecedents are there. Some of us, you see, we go through the lines now and again to look at.
No, it's definitely. It started like this.
Yes, it started like this in Benue. But today now we are finding that a corpse is being carried to the governor's office to be kept there. People are making noise, and we've banned them for another 3 months. The Benue governor, I told you, banned for 6, 9 months, 3 months like that. Today it's now all out. The solution is for Edo State government to revisit the decision that was taken on the 7th of July last year.
Okay.
Where we vehemently came out and said grazing of cattle is a private business and so must remain a private business.
All right.
If a malam decide or largely decide to have cattle, he should be able to buy a land like I have in my business, or he has you, so that he can take care of that on his own.
Okay.
The idea of state coming into the issue of how to provide land, how to provide security for them and other things is extraordinary. That is what is giving them the leverage today for them to think that they are so special.
Okay.
Then on the security aspect, my advice could be this, that because I have an expert here on that, is that the federal government should declare a total war on the herdsmen. What we have today in Benue is a total war. Gradually they are advancing. They should declare total war. I do not see how we fought a civil war with a full tribe. We were able to conquer. Why we cannot conquer rag and tag Malaysia herdsmen?
Okay. All right.
Anywhere any herdsman is seen, it should be seen as this. He should be apprehended, and whatever is carrying at that going to be taken from him.
Okay.
If there is a true ban like you have in Edo State, that the governor said he has banned the rearing of cattle in the night, and you were coming just 2 days ago and you find them. I drive in the night, I find them all over the place. Where is that order? That order only remains in Osadebe Avenue. It's not implementable. The governor should go beyond that. He has a lot of advisors there.
It's not implementable, or it's not being implemented.
It's not being implemented because there are a lot of advisors there, even on security there with the governor. Okay. Stop taking salaries. Go out to look at solutions for the governor so that these things can be done.
All right.
Then on our herdsmen, they must realize that Nigeria is a corporate state. Nigeria is a state that we have the right to live as a people. On the government must also realize that its primary duty is to ensure that life of Nigerians are adequately provided for. Let us not degenerate to the level where T.Y. Danjuma respected how to come and tell us that we now need to defend ourselves. We are marching almost towards that.
Definitely don't encourage
I will not encourage that because it's a corporate state. But let us not allow what we are lipsticking on today is solvable.
Okay.
If it's not solvable, we will know.
Okay.
Americans today are heading for Syria to create the pressure of the #1 police in the world. We are still here talking of cattle and ranches and all sorts of militias overpowering our soldiers and all that.
Let me hold you there.
It's terrible.
Let me hold you there. SP Saturday, what would you suggest as a way out of this issue?
You see how the Okada people, to identify Okada men, the government were smart enough to introduce a jacket, a tag, and a code number. You can use that. You can use it.
Okay.
Let us kind of create an avenue for the herdsmen, under a task force. Come and register.
They registered.
As you register, you are issued with a code number. That code number, you are refined to a certain area where you should be seen. If you are grazing without that, whatever code number, you are seen as an enemy.
Okay.
On the land, you are seen as not a herdsman. You are seen as either a military said, or even a kidnapper could.
So that's more like having a database.
I said so before. It can't be, just can't be formed. It's really formed. Let them come fill it, write the details. Let other tax for that must be monitored. Then get this code number, their code name. Even better, some of the bigger cows or maybe some of the cows, let it be inscribed on their body. If they seen somewhere where you're supposed to be putting, for example, Ogbowo side, now seen Agbamba side, you have encroached. That will help a great deal to curb excesses.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, so definitely hope the government is listening and would try out all of these suggestions, because the aim is to live in peace and harmony. I mean, as a country, anybody should be able to live anywhere without fear, whether you are a Fulani person, whether you are an Igbo person, whether you're Yoruba, whether you're Efik. It's one Nigeria, one indivisible entity. And so the only way that this can happen is when people are guaranteed of the safety of their lives, properties, and investment in a particular area. Thanks a whole lot, gentlemen, for making out time to be here today. Definitely appreciate. All right, we'll take a pause on the program, and then in just a bit, we'll look at another big issue that's becoming of growing concern. Talking about the continuous protests of the Islamic movement in Nigeria as a result of the arrest of their leader, Sheikh El-Zakzaky, in Abuja. Monday and Tuesday saw heavy protests and clashes with the police. We're going to be looking at that in just a bit. Do stay